Once upon a time, in a quiet little village in Germany, lived two young siblings, John, who was 8 years old, and Emma, a gentle little girl of just 6. They lived with their kind-hearted father, a hard-working woodcutter, and their stepmother, who was selfish and unkind. Their real mother had passed away when they were very small. John had chestnut brown hair and bright hazel eyes. He always wore a cream-colored linen shirt, a forest green vest, and plain brown trousers with leather shoes. He was calm, brave, and thoughtful for his age. Emma was a sweet and cheerful girl with long golden hair that shimmered in the sun. Her skin was soft and fair, and she wore a light blue cotton dress with lace sleeves and a small floral hem. A neat white apron tied around her waist, and a blue ribbon held her hair back gently. Their father loved them dearly, but one day he had to leave for a few days to work in another town. While he was away, their stepmother made a cruel plan. She decided to take John and Emma deep into the forest and leave them there forever. She told the children they were going on a walk to pick berries. Hand in hand, John and Emma followed her deep into the woods. Birds chirped overhead, and the sun peeked through the trees. After a long walk, the stepmother asked them to rest under a big oak tree. As soon as they sat down, she quietly slipped away. Night slowly fell, and the forest grew darker and scarier. Strange sounds echoed around them, and the cold wind rustled the leaves. John and Emma were frightened and tired. They curled up next to each other under the tree and fell asleep. The next morning, warm sunlight filtered through the branches. Birds chirped as the forest came to life. John and Emma woke up, feeling cold and very, very hungry. Their little tummies growled, and they looked around, not knowing which way to go. Suddenly, a delicious smell drifted through the air, something sweet and warm. They followed the scent through the trees until they reached a clearing. There, to their amazement, stood a house made of gingerbread, cake, and candy. The windows were made of sugar glass, and the walls smelled like cinnamon bread. Their eyes lit up, and without thinking, they walked inside. Inside the candy house was a long table filled with all kinds of food: fresh bread, warm soup, fruits, and cakes. Starving John and Emma began to eat. Suddenly, an old woman appeared. She looked kind and gentle and said, "Eat, little ones. You must be so hungry." But she was not kind. She was a wicked witch who had built this house to trap children. After feeding them, she locked John in a small cage and made Emma work in the kitchen. Every day, the witch gave John extra food to fatten him up, so she could eat him. But John was clever. Each time she checked his finger to see if he had grown, he held out a tiny bone instead. Her eyesight was poor, so she thought he was still too thin. After days passed, the witch grew angry and said, "That's enough. I'll cook him today, fat or thin." She ordered Emma to heat the oven, but Emma was brave and clever too. She pretended she didn't know how to light the oven and asked the witch to show her. When the witch leaned inside, Emma quickly pushed her in and slammed the door shut. The witch screamed, but it was too late. Emma rescued John from the cage, and together they searched the house. In a locked room, they found a chest full of gold coins and shiny jewels. They filled a bag with treasure and left the candy house behind. With hope in their hearts, John and Emma followed the sunlight and the birds' song. After many hours of walking, they heard a familiar voice calling their names. It was their father. He had returned and searched everywhere for them. When he saw John and Emma, he dropped to his knees and hugged them tightly, crying with joy. They told him everything: the forest, the witch, and how their stepmother had left them behind. Their father was heartbroken and full of guilt. He took them home and made a promise: they would never be apart again. As for the stepmother, when the father learned what she had done, he left her forever. She was never seen again. With the witch's treasure, John, Emma, and their father lived a peaceful life. They had enough to eat, a warm home, and most importantly, a love that kept them strong and safe.